and welcome to No Place Like Home. This program is sponsored by the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County in cooperation with Pinellas County Communications and the Department of Human Services. I'm Catherine Driver alongside Jane Merlin, your host for today's show. Hello, Jane. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well and glad to be joining you for another edition of No Place Like Home. And just out of curiosity, Catherine, did you make New Year's resolutions this past year?
I did, but some I'm still working on, and some maybe have kind of already gone by the wayside. How about you?
Well, no, I really don't make them anymore because I never kept them. But I will say that, a lot of people tuning in may have actually made a resolution to do a little better job on their finances, maybe developing a budget. Maybe they want to save up money to buy a home. So we're going to give you some tips maybe to help you keep that resolution. And if you didn't actually make that resolution, maybe it's time that you start.
Yes, I think that's a great idea.
So coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to be joined by Nan Jensen. She's with Pinellas County Extension. So you want to make sure that you do have a pen and paper because she's going to give you some really helpful information, some good websites to visit that can help you on your path to good financial fitness. But before we get into the topic, I know, Catherine, that you have a message from our sponsor, the Housing Finance Authority.
Thank you, Jane. The Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County is offering our first-time homebuyers program called Your Key to Home Ownership, helping people in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties make their dreams of home ownership a reality. The First-Time Homebuyers program is for individuals who have never owned a home, have not owned a home in the last 3 years, or are veterans. The HFA offers a low rate on its 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, and if you need a little help with down payment and closing costs, we can help you with that also with the Home Key Second Mortgage. To get your key to home ownership, please call us at 727-223-6419 or visit the website at www.pinellascounty.org/HFA. To reach us for more information or comments about the show, please call us at that same number, which is 727-223-6419, or email us at newhome@pinellashfa.com. You can also watch past shows on the website or catch us on YouTube. Jane?
Thank you, Catherine, for that great information. And as we've mentioned before in the program, a lot of people have the monthly income to manage the mortgage and the maintenance of the home and everything, but they may not have quite enough money to come up with a down payment or closing cost, and that's where your program really helps.
Right, or even if they have money saved up, they don't want to use all of their savings for down payment and, closing costs for their mortgage, because then what if something happens once they've moved into the home and they have something happen with their air conditioner or some of their appliances or their roof? Then they would have no cushion in their savings to be able to help with that. So being able to take advantage of the down payment and closing cost assistance is really a great tool. And you have to take a home buyer education class in order to be able to take advantage of those funds. But that class also helps you learn about budgeting and what kind of bills to be expecting, because maybe if you've been renting an apartment, you're not used to seeing all of the bills that come with home ownership, your insurance and your water and your electric and cable and phone. And, it's a really great tool. So hopefully people will take advantage of that.
Right. And great point on the homebuyer education class, because, some people may, once they really get into this process, may find out that, I don't think I'm really meant to be a homeowner.
Exactly.
And renting, there's nothing wrong with being a renter.
Right. And there are a lot of multifamily properties out there to choose from all around the county. We have several multifamily properties that we've helped develop, and those are very nice properties and, very nice looking and very safe.
Yeah, so some great housing options out there for people. Well, let's get started on our topic of today. I'm very pleased to introduce our guest. Nan Jensen is an extension agent with Family and Consumer Sciences. That's a program of the University of Florida's Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, and they're located at Extension over in Pinellas County. They've got a number of interesting programs for children and families, adults, programs that really really are designed to enrich your life in many ways. And Nana's also going to be discussing how to improve our financial fitness, which is something I could definitely use a little help with. She's been here before in the past and always teaches us something new. And it's a pleasure to welcome you back to No Place Like Home, Nan.
It's a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to our conversation.
Well, I am too. And let's just start right off by explaining a little bit about what Extension does, because some people tuning in might not really be fully aware of what you all do and may even be surprised at some of the things that you do. And even before we go there, I think that you've got a pretty important milestone that you're celebrating these days.
Yes, in 2014, we just celebrated our 100th year anniversary. We were actually officially established back in 1914. So we're just proud to be here and proud to be helping families and individuals. And obviously, our mission has changed. The mission hasn't changed, but maybe our focus has changed as far as what we actually work with and we teach. We have a variety of programs and services to families and individuals here in Pinellas County. We work in a number of different areas. Natural resources is a big area, which includes, of course, our environment, the importance of trees in our environment, kind of educating families about preserving and taking care of our environment. We have programs in horticulture. If you are interested in gardening, and these days that's quite the hot topic. As a matter of fact, we've got a workshop happening, a couple of workshops happening over the next couple of weeks. We teach people how to kind of grow and raise their own vegetables so that they can kind of enjoy some of that healthy eating. We have programs in family and consumer sciences, of course. Big focus is health and nutrition, kind of helping families make those healthy food choices, as well as focusing in and learning the importance of physical activity, staying physically active, so we can kind of keep ourselves healthy. And that really can be a cost savings too, as we look at what the focus of our program is too. We have less in the way of medical bills and doctors' bills and medications and some of those kinds of things. We have a wonderful youth development program, 4-H. Many families and individuals may be familiar. Perhaps they grew up in the program. The 4-H's, of course, it's a youth development organization that develops the four parts: head, health, heart, and hands. And we have a major focus, certainly in this area, on urban sustainability, kind of that whole green thing, really kind of what can consumers do to kind of help, with the impact of climate change. There's a lot of discussion around that. And then, of course, another hot topic, which really kind of involves us in a number of different areas, is the whole topic of urban agriculture, getting into backyard chickens. Some people are interested in beekeeping. So beyond just that vegetable garden they may have in their backyard, lots of different resources and tools and workshops and information that people can access on any number of topics.
Lots and lots of great programs that really help round out and improve the quality of life for residents who live here.
Yeah.
And what's interesting, too, I think, is that many of the programs are available at no cost. Some may have a minimal cost to cover materials and things like that. And I have to say, personally, I've taken some of the classes, and I find them to be very interesting, and I learn something every time I take one. So I definitely am a user and appreciate the services that you all do provide.
Absolutely. Well, that's good to hear.
Yeah, a little feedback for you there. Now, I know, too, that I had saw something recently that said that you all were going to be at the Florida State Fair this year.
Yeah, every year we have a presence at the Florida State Fair because we obviously have that relationship and that association with agriculture. And probably the program area that's going to be most involved, certainly this year, is going to be our 4-H program, of course. They have a number of different programs they offer to youth and families in the community, but one, of course, focuses in on agriculture and animals. Horses and chickens and rabbits and dogs. We have a very big dog and horse program both here in Pinellas County, so you will see them being present. And of course, a lot of times people just enjoy entering into some of those fair competitions. Be it canning and preserving, baking and cooking, and some of those kinds of things. So we'll probably see some of those exhibits over there as well. Some of our 4-H'ers and some of our extension families may be a part of that whole effort. Since we don't do as much of that here. We do have a Pinellas County Fair, but we don't see some of the exhibits in the cooking and the baking and those kinds of things like we might at the Florida State Fair. So lots of great stuff happening. Again, 4-H is going to be kind of the program that's going to be highlighted and spotlighted there.
So if you're going to the fair this year, definitely want to find the 4-H exhibit and see what that program's all about.
Yeah, there'll be lots of activities. Yeah, kind of they do some fun things. A lot of the surrounding counties, they'll be doing some performances, and they have some interactive activities over there for the kids. And so there's lots of neat stuff to do aside from just riding the rides on the Midway, which is fun too.
Lots of things to do. Keep you busy. I wanted to mention too, I received an email right before we taped today's show, and it was an exciting award that someone from your organization received. It was an award for the Traveling Tree Walk, which is something that Extension was involved in recently. And congratulations to the team who put that together.
Lara Miller, of course, who is one of our natural resource agents, who is actually housed at Booker Creek, actually was instrumental in putting that together. And it's really kind of a very creative way of educating individuals who visit our parks and preserves about the value of trees. We oftentimes don't think about that, but so critical to have them. And so it's a very creative way to kind of help people kind of understand all of the benefits that trees do provide to us here.
Well, and you can learn more about that by going on the county's website at pinellascounty.org and read about the award and the program. And there's a picture of one of the tags that's used to help do that educational piece. Very, very interesting. So let's kind of shift gears now and get really involved in today's topic, and that's on financial fitness. And I know that you all do something with financial management, which, again, a lot of people might not equate that with Extension, but tell us a little bit about that program.
Yeah, well, here in Pinellas County, we do have some financial education programs. There are a number of organizations, certainly, that do offer them. But probably the biggest group that kind of helps us with the educational programs out in the community is our Florida Master Money Mentors. And they will offer programs right now. We're offering programs at the Palm Harbor Library a couple of times a month on basic money management, and then also the savings and investments, kind of taking it to the next level. We also work very closely with Career Source, which of course is the Florida Employment Opportunity program here in the state of Florida, and we program at one of the locations here. And our Master Money Mentors, who are trained in financial management, actually just help individuals who are attending the classes, the free classes, to really understand the basics of budgeting, because sometimes we get so entrenched in other things in our lives, we just forget about what's really involved in setting up that budget or that spending and savings plan, which is probably a little bit better way to look at it. Right. And so kind of walking them through the process. And as part of that program where they're learning a bit about, setting goals, tracking expenses, kind of looking at, where they can maybe kind of shave off some money when it comes to maybe their flexible expenses and just really giving them the nuts and bolts about budgeting and creating that spending plan. We also provide them a money management calendar to help, which is a great tool to help them do that. And then they can also have access to one of our money mentors for a one-on-one sit-down to really help them look at their particular situation, which is really very helpful because a lot of times when you're in a general class, you're talking about general issues and topics and whatnot, but there may be some very specific personal things that people kind of want to look at in their own situations, and we have our Florida Master Money Mentors who can help them do that here in Pinellas County.
Wow, that's an amazing
it's a great resource.
Program. Yeah, wonderful.
That is great. Now, what can folks expect at your sessions? Like, are they offered in the evenings, on weekends? Is it an hour? Is it 8 hours? Is it kind of all different?
Well, it's different, and it really does depend. Right now, the programs that we're offering at the library generally are about 2 hours in length. At this point, we are offering them during the day. We did try some evening classes at the libraries, and they were not as well attended. The days seem to kind of work a little bit better. The other thing that if anybody is out there listening, if they are a part of or associated with an organization, we have the capabilities of putting together a series program for those organizations. We can either come out and do a one-time presentation, or we can actually put together a series of programs that really kind of address a number of of different financial topics. We just completed a series for our Pinellas County employees. It was a 4-part series. We start out about and talk a little bit about the importance of some of the tools that we need to have in our financial toolbox. Things like, the budget. Kind of creating the budget, looking at the issue of net worth, also kind of examining how are you managing and keeping your records and valuable papers, which oftentimes people don't think about, but it is a very important part of financial management. Then we get into the topic of credit. We get into savings and investments in that 3rd session. And then the 4th session is talking about retirement planning. So we do have the capabilities of setting that series of programs up. We've done them in the past for the general public. We do them for organizations. We completed a number of different programs for our Pinellas County employees. And we're happy to certainly continue, down that path, offering those things to organizations and groups that might be interested.
So where can folks go to find out information about the classes and when they're available and how to sign up and all of that great information?
If they actually just go to our website, and probably one of the easiest things to do, whatever search engine people use, if you just type in Pinellas County Extension, that will generally be one of the first selections people will come to. You click on that link, and then you'll see, along with the other things on our website, on the right-hand side, there's a series, kind of an outline of all of the different programs that we offer or that we have here in Pinellas County, and there will be a link to classes and events. And if they click on that will bring them up to the various classes that we do offer here in the county. They can sign up online. If they have an issue or they don't feel comfortable signing it up online, they can certainly call us. They can call me personally. I generally use my number, 582-2104. And I can sign them up. I can either just kind of get their name and their phone number, or I can sign them up online if that's something that they're more comfortable doing. I'm happy to do that. And we've been doing that for some folks. So that's probably the easiest way.
That's great.
Nan, what advice would you have for somebody who may be struggling at this point with their finances and they may be feeling overwhelmed and unsure of how to get started and what the first step should be? What advice would you have for them?
Well, I was going to say, if they're feeling overwhelmed and just they're hesitant on where they need to begin, probably one of the best things they could do is to call us, certainly Pinellas County Extension. They can call my number again, 582-2104, and we can match them up with a money mentor. But in terms of general advice, I think the big thing is you just don't want to put your head in the sand. You want to kind of get started with that budget. And probably the first thing to do is to take a look at organizing your papers, organizing all of your money. But there's a 6-step process that we recommend. You start out by looking at what your financial goals are. They're divided typically into 3 different areas. There's this short-term stuff, and it may be paying off a credit card bill, for example. Within a year's period of time, you've got some credit card debt. You want to go ahead and get that paid off. You might want to look at what you want to kind of accomplish kind of midway through. It may be buying that house that you were talking about, Catherine, and that wonderful program that we do have available here in Pinellas County. And then there are some long-term goals that people maybe need to look at, thinking about, I really do need to be realistic. I'm not always going to be working, and what kind of money do I need to set aside for retirement? That's generally the first step. And then as you think about it, probably a very important step is, if you don't really know where you are, start by tracking your daily expenses. And that's critical because a lot of times people lose sight of those day-to-day things that they may purchase. While they seem small initially, they do add up to significant amounts over the course of a month or a year or that kind of thing. Of course, looking at all of your expenses, that rent payment or that mortgage payment if you are a homeowner, all of those things that kind of are the outgoing things. Then you look at your income, certainly, and you kind of match all of those things up to see where you are in terms of, am I spending more than I'm making, and figuring out where you can maybe shave off or either reduce your expenses or increase your income in some form or fashion. And then really sticking to the plan. I think it's writing it down. People oftentimes, if they don't write it down and they just walk around with it in their head, it isn't as valuable certainly as having it on paper. And that's where our money management calendars, come in handy, and people can call us and get one. I'm happy to send them out to them. If they like the pencil and paper approach, obviously there are certainly software programs that people can use, and obviously websites too. But really, I think sometimes the pencil and paper approach might be the best thing to kind of start with.
And it's really eye-opening when you start listing all of those expenditures and you start really seeing where the money goes. It can be
Absolutely.
quite surprising.
Yeah, it's interesting, especially those little ones, as I was mentioning, that you don't think about. The amount of money you may be spending on lunch every day, for example, or the amount of money you may be spending on one of those coffees at one of our specialty coffee shops. All of those kinds of things, while they seem small at the time, do add up over the course of of that time,
Exactly.
over the couple of weeks. So it's very helpful to just kind of document those kinds of things.
And I know you're a big proponent also of getting the entire family involved when it comes to budgeting and finance. Talk to us a little about that.
I think that's an important conversation we need to have, because when you think of one of the biggest sources of stress and discord among families, oftentimes you will see finances listed at the top of that list. So really kind of making sure that you're all on the same page as far as how you spend your family income, how that's going to kind of work, how that family budget will kind of operate. The other thing that it can do for those of you who have children, it can really be a very valuable early learning experience for kids, because as we know, no matter what the topic, the earlier children get involved in that whole process, the better they're going to be in terms of being able to manage those finances as they get older and independent and out on their own. So very critical for everybody to kind of, maybe a family meeting periodically to kind of look at those finances, but figuring out together as a family how that money is being spent, and deciding, for example, when it comes to managing and keeping records and important papers, who's going to be doing that? Is it going to be both of you, or is one person a little bit better, at kind of keeping organized and keeping everybody on task? So, those are the kinds of decisions and discussions that families have to have. And I think probably the more transparent we are about how we spend our money, certainly the less surprises you will have, certainly on a monthly basis.
Very, very good advice. And, it almost makes you wonder, getting the kids started early on is a great way to develop those habits, the savings habits and good spending habits, if you will. So is it ever too late to start developing a savings plan?
Oh, absolutely not. And it's interesting, as we look at the list of expenditures that we have on that budget, on that expense list, one of the expenses that needs to be on there is savings, setting aside money for savings, and that's going to vary a little bit, of course, with individuals. And of course, one of the things, Catherine, you mentioned early on in the program was the importance of getting like the down payment money and that kind of thing, because we do know that savings, particularly that emergency savings plan, is very important to kind of cover those surprise costs that we really didn't anticipate. A tire blows, car needs maintenance, the washing machine goes out. Because if we don't have the emergency account, that initial savings account that covers some of those emergencies, it's going to cause us to maybe put that expenditure on credit cards, and then we can get ourselves into this vicious cycle of kind of digging ourselves deeper and deeper into a hole that we never get out of. So really critical. So I'd say no time is ever too late. You can always start it, and start today. And it's people oftentimes look at their income and they say, well, I can't afford right now to save. And we're not talking about large amounts of money. We're just talking about very small amounts of money, kind of setting those kinds of things aside. And it may be that you take some of that what we call walking around money, those daily, those kinds of monies that, mount up, the dollar that you put every day in the soda machine to get that soda on a daily basis. There are less expensive ways of buying that, and setting that money aside for those kinds of things.
Which becomes a great motivator when you start seeing that, starting small and it starts to build up and more. That's a great motivator to encourage you to do even more.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
just like when you're on the diet and they tell you to log your food every day. You don't realize all the little bits and bites that you take all day, and it all adds up. And it's the same thing with your finances.
Absolutely.
5 lunches a week and 5 coffees a week. That can be a pretty serious chunk of dollars, every week.
I think I did a calculation, and I share that with folks in a class. If you spend $3 and something on a daily basis during all the work days, it can go into the $2,000 by the end of the year. If you add all of those kinds of things up, if you do the math. So, and oftentimes we have people do that as an exercise in class. Okay, what's one thing that you kind of consistently buy every day, for example, while you're at work? And then do the math in terms of, okay, what does that look like at the end of the year? And oftentimes people are very surprised about what that adds up to.
Right.
So.
That's very good. Well, we also should mention that many folks are getting ready to start working on their taxes. It is tax season. There's an excellent website at www.uwsuncoast.org/free tax-help, and the IRS provides a lot of information at www.irs.gov. These are 2 great resources to keep in mind as we begin to start working on our tax returns. Additionally, the Earned Income Tax Credit has helped many Pinellas County residents. I would encourage everyone to look into that benefit. The IRS website has a tool to help you quickly determine if you qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit. Again, their website is www.irs.gov. That is an excellent resource where individuals can get their tax returns done.
That's an excellent point, and was doing a little research before the show and looking a little bit at that Earned Income Tax Credit program, which is really available for people who are earning a lower wage and are able to get some monies back, and they may not even realize that they have those funds coming to them. So this is a really good time. We're talking about financial fitness. Mm-hmm. It's a good time to see if your household would qualify for that program. And the IRS has a wonderful tool, very simple tool to use, where you can actually plug in your particular numbers and find out if that program, if you would qualify for that program. And I know that we've had our partners from the Juvenile Welfare Board here in the past who have shared with us some wonderful stories about people who've been assisted by that program. Well, Nan, we're almost out of time, but I did want you to speak briefly to us about the relationship between finances and nutrition.
Ah, yes. Well, it's interesting. There is a tremendous association between those kinds of things. As we know, the food that we buy is considered a flexible expense, so we do have some latitude and some control over those kinds of things. And certainly one of the things we can do is, look for things, on sale, use unit pricing, read nutrition labels. We always teach people to kind of, shop the perimeter of the supermarket. The other thing that people can do, because of the focus on eating fresh fruits and vegetables, people oftentimes will look at that and say, well, I just can't afford that. But we do know that there are many produce stands in the area that oftentimes will offer fresh fruits and vegetables a little less expensively. We have got our farmers markets, and for those people who are on the SNAP program, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, I know our market down in St. Petersburg does accept SNAP benefits, so you can actually, and they will double your dollars as well. So that's a really good way of shopping for fruits and vegetables. So really just paying attention to the kinds of purchases, taking advantage for those stores that offer it, the buy one, get one, and really focusing in on good quality food, certainly. And, again, if you eat well, you tend to be a little healthier, and that can certainly be a savings in the end as well.
It reduces the amount of time that you're going to have to go to visit a doctor.
Absolutely.
And medications and everything that goes along with that.
Yeah.
So, well, we are already out of time. Nan, we could just talk to you for a long time on this subject. It's very important, and I know that you've given folks a lot of great advice already today to help them get started and improve their financial fitness.
I think so, too.
Again, Nan Jensen is an extension agent with Family and Consumer Sciences, a program of the University of Florida's Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences, located at Extension. And of course, we want to give a thank you and shout out to our friends with Pinellas County Communications Department and WRXB 1590 AM. If you'd like more information or would like to provide feedback, we always enjoy hearing from you. Give us a call at 727-223-6419 or send us an email at newhome@pinellashfa.com. I'm Jane Merlin.
And I'm Catherine Driver.
Thank you for tuning in to No Place Like Home. Make it a great day.